Happy Tuesday, everyone. You don't get David Kitchen today, unfortunately, because I know he's better than I am at doing this stuff. I'm sure you guys had a lot more fun with Kitchen as opposed to me. And he drafted a fire team, too. So let's hope that streak continues and we draft a good team here on this Tuesday. Let's get to it. I'm in the 6th spot. The draft has started. I don't know why I couldn't get that out of my brain. All right, we're in the 106, so we're getting either Gibbs or CD Lamb. Should I put on the music, the background music, like Kitchen had yesterday? Turn it down a little bit. Oh, look at this! Someone went CMC. Let's go Gibbs because I have more Lamb exposure. You guys like the vibes? You guys like the music? Kitchen might have won the Millie yesterday. That's what I hear. I don't know if I can concentrate with this music. Yeah, pro tip when you're looking at stacks. I don't think that you can do this, though, on desktop right now, unless they changed it. So if I type in Dolphins, yeah. You can only do this on the mobile app. What's up, Aaron? What's up, Costco? Matt. Rlocks24. What's going on, Jaquan? So did Kitchen do feeding the ducks? I'm currently doing night driving. This is feeding the ducks. If you guys want to hear feeding the ducks. Yeah, I don't know if I like the music. I'm gonna go no music. I can't concentrate as well. No music. Maybe I'm just not as fun as Kitchen. Kitchen's like your favorite uncle. You know? I'm just acting like your dad. No music. We got a lot going on in the NFL right now with all the pseudo injuries, nothing major yet, but also just camp news of players kind of getting boosted. So if you guys have any questions with that and those guys, I'll gladly talk about them. Probably going to send an email blast out today. I'm thinking about Tank Bigsby because I think that's probably one of the bigger storylines right now. All right, let's see. We got Gibbs first. So I think we're going to either get, oh, wow. You know, I kind of want to go AJ Brown, but let's just go. Let's go AJ Brown. Do you think, what do you guys think? Bowers or AJ Brown? Depends on how you want to build this thing. I would have gone Bowers if I would have gotten CD Lamb. I'm going to go AJ Brown. I'm higher than the market on Brown. I have enough Bowers. Could go either way, but I don't want to fall behind a wide receiver. And I'm thinking about the mid-third here, and the wide receivers there just keep getting kind of worse in a way. You know, you have the Stafford situation with Devontae Adams. You know, there's just not as good of wideouts in the, like, to me, and I talked about this on Becoming a Best Ball Bro that's going to drop tomorrow because I recorded my interview yesterday. But to me, the late third wide receivers are not that different than like the early fifth at times, you know? Yeah, easy to stack with Hurts too. That was the thought. That's another reason why I wanted to go that direction. A lot of people saying Brown over Bowers, which I'm kind of surprised by. What's the new Chubb excitement related to? Is that my podcast that I dropped today? I don't think that changes his outlook in best ball. Chuba Hubbard, that is. I did a podcast today on some players who have good and bad early season schedules, and Chuba is definitely as good, probably the best of any running back for the first month of the season. I'm probably going to add that to the draft guide this week so that people are aware. So, you know, there might be a sell opportunity or there might be just an opportunity to get off to a good start. So maybe you don't want to fade him as hard, but I still have the same concerns with Chuba about his pass catching, where there's just question marks about how they're going to deploy him there. All right, so we can go with T here. which I'm surprised that T fell because, again, the way that the position's kind of gone. But that's what happens when you get Marvin Harrison ahead of him and Lamar and Joe Burrow. So I'll go T. Just get kind of best player available. I'm not like massively high on T Higgins. I might even be slightly underweight at like 7%, 6%. Little regression coming for him, but he's still a solid pick. Can't go wrong with these offenses either, right? Detroit, Philly, and Cincinnati. It's a pretty good start. The way people are drafting quarterbacks right now too makes me feel okay if I have to get Hurts or if I do get Hurts in this next round. There goes Jaden Daniels. Here comes Costco Matt. Glad we're not next to each other. I like your start though. That lad pick, obviously, like I don't have him in the same sort of vicinity as some of those guys, but I do like it from a team building and sort of differentiation standpoint. I think it's a fun little, and for the week 17. I've had some drafts recently where things just have not fallen into place at all. Where just, I'm not even really pushing it. It's just I get sniped right before my pick. And then my team's, some of you guys have been in some of my drafts where that's happened. I know someone messaged me and they were saying that they were in a draft with me and I was, and it was a pretty mediocre draft. Not much chatter in the chat today. All right, we'll go with Jalen Hurts now. We'll pair him. All right, so books and Bitcoin. Does that mean you're in the? I must have missed it. Are you in the 8th spot? Achane, Henry, Adams, Evans. Feels like it's interesting that Evans hasn't really shifted in ADP, despite the fact that Chris Godwin has a little bit more question marks. People still asleep. It's true. It's true. But look, I only have so many hours in a day to squeeze some of these in. Not only that, you guys were asking for these earlier morning streams. Should I get the music back going? Will that wake you guys up a little bit? I love this area of the draft for wide receivers. After DJ Moore, like J-Mo, Tet, Calvin Ridley, Waddle, Devontae Smith, George Pickens. I think that we can really take advantage of that in auction drafts this year because you can get a couple of them. When if you compare them to like JSN and their ceiling outcomes, I don't know if it's like, oh man, we're going to get Devontae. Woo, baby. Nice little Eagle stack with that anchor of Gibbs. This is looking good. We will definitely screw it up. What's going on, Pete? Good to see you. Can't get into Evans. You're falling in love with Igbukah more and more, just like Baker. I'm not saying to like be into Evans because like I'm not overweight on him, but I'm just saying it's surprising to me that the ADP hasn't shifted at all with the Godwin stuff. I think all of it is just shifted towards Igbukah when I don't know if that's just not a typical movement of the market. But there's been weird stuff like that all offseason. Like Xavier Worthy, I know he went 402 here to Matt, but Worthy goes mid-4th all the time still. That's where he was going before the Rashee Rice stuff was happening often. More, maybe he was more like 4-5, but like he's barely risen in ADP when you consider the potential suspension. And I'm not saying that you got to raise him to like the mid third. I wouldn't be doing that. But I think he is a 3-4 turn guy in best ball. Caleb Johnson, that's something. All right, so we're looking at Lions stuff here with Gibbs. Don't really want to reach for Montgomery. You can go Olave. We have some solid wide receivers. I'm not going to draft Montgomery anyway because I have Gibbs. We have some solid wide receivers, and I think there's a little bit more of a lower floor, higher ceiling for Olave versus Jacoby Myers. He's our 4, so feel good about that. I do want to rant about something in just a second. I'm just reading all these comments real quick. I found myself getting a few, Philly Buffalo stacks, solid. As someone with a 2.5-year-old, your Friday Perspectives intro was very relatable. Yeah. My son's 2 years, 7 months now, so right in the same area. He's a December 2022 baby. All right, let's rant a little bit. I think that the way that beat writers, we have to realize as a fantasy community that the way that beat writers speak about players and backfields in particular is not the way that we necessarily consume that backfield as fantasy football players and managers, right? Good example of that is probably Breece Hall. But a better example is going to be Tank Bigsby. But with Breece Hall, for instance, we're seeing let's say it's going to be like a 60-40 split between him and Braylon Allen, which, by the way, I've been drafting a lot of Braylon Allen like over the last 3 weeks, probably 4 weeks, just because even though my evaluation after year 1, hang on, I got to make this pick in a sec. Shakir feels right because of the bring back element with the Eagles. So we'll do that. And Jennings is now banged up. Well, banged up. We'll see how real it is. So like with Braylon Allen, for instance, with the running back position in general, I think it's really important for people to not like lean too far in with talent. Like Braylon Allen was a fine prospect, super young prospect, some pass catching question marks, but a bulldozer. And he was only like 20 years old. Right. So like, it shouldn't shock anyone if he gets better, if he's better than he was last year. My point with Allen throughout the offseason has been a lot of people think that he's just really good based on what he did last year, but his descriptive data is not actually that good. Right. And I actually thought Isaiah Davis looked good. Regardless of all of that, if the coaching staff says we want to use Braylon Allen, and we've kind of gotten those hints over the last couple of months, then we got to draft Braylon Allen, right? We still have to react to what's going on there, because at the end of the day, if a coaching staff says, hey, running back, you're on the field, then that guy can be fantasy relevant. We might not agree with it, and maybe eventually talent wins out, and hopefully it does, but it doesn't always win out. Not only that, but obviously a guy like Braylon Allen, he's 20 years old or whatever coming out. So like there's a lot of opportunity for him to get better and better. When it comes to like Breece Hall versus Braylon Allen, when we look at reports and we see, oh yeah, Braylon Allen's getting run with the ones and Allen's getting splitting work with Breece Hall, that isn't all that matters from a fantasy football perspective, right? Like that's not all right. I'm about to pick again. Now we're in a spot. Maybe Jordan Mason because of the Detroit thing. Don't need a quarterback. We could go Pollard just to get a body. What do you guys think? Pollard or Mason? I feel like we probably should go Pollard, even though there's correlation with Mason. I don't have a ton of Pollard. Let's just go Pollard. He's the falling value. Yeah, everyone's saying Pollard. I'm not a big Jordan Mason guy anyway. So with Breece Hall, with running backs in general in fantasy football, we have to ask ourselves, okay, where is the other stuff coming? Where is the receiving stuff coming? Which is the most important part of the running back position still. We still need that extra boost. It's why I've been fading Brian Robinson. The only out for Brian Robinson to be a really solid fantasy asset is if he scores 13 plus touchdowns. And even then, who knows? Because he's not seeing a lot of work through the air, right? And now you got Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, who's also getting a lot of camp hype, and maybe some of that early down work isn't even there for him, right? Because when you have a player who doesn't have elite skills, which I like Brian Robinson enough, but I don't think that he's an elite running back, there's fragility that comes with that, right? So when we pay for Breece Hall, we're not simply paying for the projection and the amount of upside he has and all that kind of stuff. What we're also paying for is the lack of fragility that likely occurs in a backfield with Breece Hall, because Breece Hall is a very, very good player. All right, now we're back in a weird spot again. Tracy's probably my pick. Could go Tyler Warren. I don't have enough Tyler Warren, but I don't want to reach per se. We'll go with some ambiguous backfields here. I'm just thinking through it. We could go Goff and go with a 2 quarterback build, but we don't have enough other stuff, other pass catchers. We'll just go Tracy and go from there. I like Dave is saying Pollard. Let me just look at this team real quick. We'll probably look at tight end or quarterback next. The problem is the quarterback stuff, we kind of just got to get a late stack, like some later guys. So with Breece Hall, part of the reason you draft him and you feel good about drafting him is because you know he has elite traits and you know that he has been an elite running back in the past. Okay. And so I don't have any thoughts on that, Wesley. I haven't dug into it or anything. So with Breece, the pass catching side should still be there. And that's still very, very, very valuable. It's insanely valuable. Now, you go down to like Tank Bigsby. Let's talk about that backfield. Again, what are beat writers saying and how are they reporting that information? Yeah, right now the only quarterback that I can stack is Tyler Shuck. I mean, we can go Cam Ward still with Tony Pollard. It's fine. I could have gone Goff, but there wasn't going to be a pass catcher to feel good about. We had Gibbs. I mean, maybe that's good enough. I'm trying to rant here, guys. We'll see what quarterbacks. We're about to be on the clock. This is where I could get some Tyler Warren exposure. Yeah, we'll just do that. Could have gone Love there and try to get, or Kraft and Love and try to go that route, but we'll see what quarterbacks are available in the next round. So essentially, with the Tank Bigsby stuff, and I know Beefcake just said Bigsby was apparently in on the first team 2-minute drill. But like, I don't know that we can ignore the historical precedent that Tank Bigsby has set, right, with his pass catching, and just assume that all of a sudden changes. We should be open-minded about that. But the bottom line with Bigsby is that when they say he's running with the ones and he blah, 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 that doesn't tell us all the information we need. And the way people speak about running backs is he's the RB1, he's the RB2, he's the RB3, as if the RB1 on Jacksonville means the exact same as the RB1 in Atlanta. It doesn't, right? Because talent is dictating how much volume these guys are going to get. It could be a split backfield, whatever. The thing that we have to worry about most is cost, right? Tank Bigsby and this news that he's getting work with the ones and his ADP barely shifting. That's the part that gets me, right? Like I'm still getting Bigsby in the exact same spot for the most part as I was before all of this news. That's the bizarre part to me. You're not having to pay a 6th or 7th round pick to get Tank Bigsby. So why not just get Tank Bigsby? Get your exposure. He's probably going to rise, right? It's just that the market's been so slow to really correct for that. All right, we gotta focus. Things got derailed a little bit. We do have some outs here. Let's just go Love because we know that we can get some just looking around. We know we can get some pieces later. Is there any other quarterback that would make more sense for this build? I could go Shaheed here, but he's been going 3 rounds earlier on underdog. Now, look, he has, like, there's going to be individual drafts where he does, but I, like, literally yesterday I was drafting, I got Tank, and I know it's anecdotal, but that's all we can really go by at times in these situations, right? But, like, I yesterday got Bigsby at, like, 150, and I was going to take him the round before. Yeah, it is impossible for me to not backstack the Packers. It's true. But, like, look at this, guys. Tootin right now is going 11-12. Okay. I still really like Tootin as the overall, like, and ETN going at the 902. Like, I still like Tootin. I actually think that there's, like, low key some goodness to this new Tank Bigsby news because we know that ETN is more of the, like, every down threat, or he has been historically. And for some guy to really emerge in that backfield, he would have to obviously gobble up all of that work, or at least be the pass catching side. If Tank Bigsby is the biggest competition for Tootin, then that's more upside from a pass catching perspective to kind of slide in there and be that dude. But it's bizarre to me with all of this news that even today, right now, Tank Bigsby is being drafted after Bashal Tootin. Bashal Tootin is injured right now. You got to adjust your priors to some degree, and you got to think open-mindedly about, okay, maybe they do use Tank Bigsby a little bit more as a receiver, yada, yada, yada. But this is the environment, in my opinion, that's going to be easier to have Tank Bigsby than a season-long managed environment. Because maybe Bigsby is a Brian Robinson type player that you're just getting later. I don't want that from a predictability standpoint. But from a best ball perspective, totally different. All right, we got Goddard here. We can go with the big three Eagles, which feels about right. We'll go that route. And then we can just get one very, very late. I like the pairing of Goddard and Warren, though, too. I could have gone, now that I'm thinking about it, I could have gone Trevor Lawrence here and then gotten and had the week 17 correlation with the Colts. There goes Bigsby right there. Like, I think this is probably a good spot for him to go get, like, when you weigh in where people are likely to draft him, just give an ADP. But here's my take. Like, I think there are serious concerns about Tank Bigsby's pass catching ability. And I'll break this down in a newsletter that today. I'm gonna do a little research on it. But if you guys aren't subscribed, just go to lateround.com and subscribe for free with the newsletter. But, like, Bigsby's first 2 years as a pass catcher have been beyond horrendous. This isn't just like, oh yeah, he hasn't been no, he's been horrible as a pass catcher. And obviously on the ground in year 1, he was really bad. If you guys remember, I liked Bigsby as a prospect. So, like, I have no, like, real horse in this race in terms of, like, liking Bigsby or not liking Bigsby. I think that I guess I do because I like Tootin a lot as a prospect. But Bigsby was just as good of a prospect, in my opinion, right? So There's no like, I don't really care what the outcome is. It's more so like, let's look at what's happened historically with pass catchers that are like Bigsby. They usually don't see, almost never see high target shares. But you're not paying for him like he's going to get a high target share. Oh, crap. I'm on the clock. We got to go Cam. We'll get a 3 quarterback build here with Jalen Hurts. I think that you just get 3 even in these environments. You get 3. You have multiple outs throughout the season. We got to really figure out Jordan Love's stacking partner, though. It's probably just going to be like Wicks and Romeo Doubs. And then Cam, we can get Lockett or Iamaner to go with Pollard. And we also, with Cam, have the Chris Olave bring back, which is nice. Yeah, Kitchen's very happy with that. Yeah, I know I need running backs, but I have Gibbs also as the anchor. I don't think Gibbs, Pollard, and Tracy is that horrendous of a trio through round 13. Yeah, Chig could be a third tight end if he falls enough. I don't really want to reach for a third tight end or for Chig. Yeah, got that golden. That's right. Got that golden Philly stack, baby. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert. Love to see it. Just leaning into them throwing the ball more this year, which is going to happen. But yeah, the ridiculousness of the Tank Bigsby stuff is like eightfold, right? It's, let's not just take beat writers and reports at face value, because there's more to the running back position in fantasy football than just like running with the ones, right? Like there's more than just that. But then at the same time, you get people on Twitter and on the internet that are, you're an idiot if you were fading Tank, or you're an idiot if you're buying this, right? If you're buying into the idea that Tank Bigsby can be someone that's fantasy relevant. It's all just so tiring. It's tiring. This is not that complicated in my eyes. Let me make the pick and I'll explain why I don't think it's that complicated. All right, here we go, Romeo Doubs. We got it. We got a stack. You guys will be shocked, but I just drafted Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs again. So this is not that complicated. Tank Bigsby is getting more run with the ones than many expected. Okay. Maybe there's a little bit more of a bump in receiving potential given Liam Cohen is there. Okay. He should rise in ADP. He should rise. If you have the same take about Tank Bigsby as you did a week and a half ago, you're playing this game wrong. Period. I don't care if you hated Tank Bigsby. You have to adjust your priors, you guys. This is what the game of fan. Being reactive is way more important than being right from the start. Imagine if I had last season at the beginning of the offseason when I said, yeah, I don't think Chase Brown is someone that you should really care about that much, or, I think he's a little bit overinflated. Imagine if I didn't change my tune to the complete opposite direction 3 months later after doing more research. Chase Brown was a key cog to me as a fantasy analyst last year. He's hugely important. And so, you got to just take the information that's coming your way and adjust your priors. Speculation the Packers might trade Dobbs and Wicks. Yeah, I mean, the speculation's been there with Dobbs all offseason. They were saying that he was going to go to Pittsburgh because of the Aaron Rodgers connection, which is weird because I feel like Jordan Love loves Romeo Doubs. But yeah, that's my mini rant. Don't take everything that beat writers say as face value, but also just don't ignore it. I really should have been paying attention on who to draft here. All right, what do we need? Probably a running back. Do we have any sort of correlation here that we need? It's probably staring me in the face. I should have been planning ahead more. Jalen Wright is just kind of like I'll just put him at the top of the queue. Just a dude there. Could have gone Demario Douglas, who's getting some steam. I'll just go right. We need another running back body. No one was speaking to me there. Yeah, I could have gone Palmer, but I do have Khalil Shakir, so I feel okay about the bring back there. But Palmer's another guy that might be there in the next round. And I also need running back a little bit more. We can put Palmer up there. And then, so we're going to need one more tight end and a couple more wide. This will probably be a standard 3-6-8 build or 3 build. Yeah, I like Jalen Wright. He's actually one of my, he might be my highest rostered running back right now. Because I think he has a role. Yeah, Giddens and Woody Marks. Did Woody Marks go? Did I see his name get drafted? Or was that just my imagination? Yeah, it must have been my imagination. Yeah, we could go. And I don't mind even getting Pop Douglas, just another player in there. We do need to stack Cam. Is Chig still here? No. Oh, yeah, he is. We go Chig, or we could go Lockett and Iamaner. We've got some outs. We also could go Justice Hill to bring back with kind of like the Justice Hill look. Especially with a team that you went anchor. I kind of like Justice Hill here to go to bring back with Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs. I agree that the wide receiver 2 is up for grabs in Tennessee. I don't really want to force it with Chig. I don't think it's too necessary here. We're gonna go Justice Hill, and then we can throw a dart at a running back at the end. I didn't love Restrepo as a prospect to begin with before the 40 time. Like I thought he was over because people were like steaming him into day 2. And I just wasn't here for that. But now that he's free, I'm not really going hard in like best ball, but he's free in like dynasty or whatever. That's fine. Didn't think Woody Marks would go that early. So we'll worry about the last running back towards the end, I think. And then maybe Chig is still here in the next round. That would be nice. If not, we're probably going to have to reach for Tyler Lockett or Iamaner. I saw a report. Oh, there we go. We got Chig. That worked out. 17th round Chig to go with Warren and Goddard to stack with Ward. I think we could still get Lockett if he's there in the next round. There's been I saw some reports about Lockett and Cam having like a good chemistry. Yeah, Iamaner went ahead of Chig. My Shipley exposure is not super high because I think it's sort of a partially and I liked him enough as a prospect, but I feel like it's partially a best ball bro steam. I think if Saquon Barkley goes down, what are we thinking? I'm thinking AJ Dillon is gonna get a lot of work there too. And people could say, oh, the pass catching would go to Shipley. I mean, who knows how they cycle through players, or what if they trade back for like Kenneth Gainwell or like do something, right? So I don't want to make too many assumptions about him being the handcuff. But I've drafted him. This is turning into a pretty solid team. No, we do not fear AJ Dillon under any circumstance. I mean, like I said earlier, listen to the rant earlier about talent at running back. Sometimes it doesn't matter. And also Will Shipley, guys, like, let's not pretend he was this like smash prospect. Okay, so yeah, I like this team a lot too. This really came together. So I think here we go Wicks or Lockett. If Lockett's there, I'll probably go Lockett. But if he gets sniped, he gets sniped. Little Tennessee stack for Mr. Kitchen. Yeah, we'll go Lockett. Pass ADP, I think. So we got one wideout and one running back to go. Wideout could be Wicks. Running back, let's just look at some players that we could go with. I like these rookies as like standalone guys. Manungai. I drafted a lot of these three. Do we have correlation here? No one on Dallas, I don't think, right? No one on San Francisco. We don't really. Oh wait, we have no. Thinking of another draft. ETN. I'll at least throw him up there. Do you guys have any favorite like last round running backs you've been going after? I want to kind of even out my exposure more with some of these guys. Sean Tucker, I get. Sean Tucker works with Jalen Wright. Maybe we see a week 17 battle of the backup running backs. Thoughts on Mason Taylor? Isn't he the clear tight end one? It's usually when rookie tight ends can hit, right? Yeah, I mean, he has opportunity. I've actually, I didn't think I was going to be in on him because I thought his ADP would be a lot higher. Yeah, Kendra is a really fun one. Kendra fits this build too. So let's instead, this is what Kendra, I'm trying to get Kendra because no one's drafting him. And he might be there too. Playing behind an old running back. But I'm not going to do it yet because I think I can get him in the last round. Wicks would be great here. I have a Olave too, so it's technically a Saints stack in general. All right, so we'll go Wicks as the final wide receiver. I wish we would have gotten a rookie wide receiver. That's probably the only downside of this team. We have a rookie tight end though. Not a ton of rookies on this team. That's the downside of it. But yeah, we'll go Kendra last. Kendra was a good shout. I've been trying to get him in a few just because you get leverage on the entire market too. There goes Krosky, Merritt. This is going to be a fun team to rate. I definitely wasn't finishing a thought, and now I can't remember. Oh, Mason Taylor. I thought Taylor was going to just have a higher ADP than he does. All right, we'll finish it off with Kendra Miller. I thought Mason Taylor was going to have a higher ADP. His numbers in my model weren't that great. He was more of like a Kate Otten type, Jake Ferguson type. I don't know if the athleticism is like that unbelievable, but like you said, he should be the tight end one. I'm fine with throwing that dart in a 15th plus round environment in these best ball drafts. So like, I'm not in on him in Dynasty. I like Terrence Ferguson more. I liked Elijah Arroyo more as prospects than my model did. But I do think that he's fine in redraft, which is usually kind of backwards, but it's about the investment. All right. You guys got to rate this team out of 10. Give me decimals. Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs, AJ Brown, T. Higgins. Oh, I guess we did have T. We could have gone Taj Brooks or something. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith. So we got the Eagles going. Chris Olave, Khalil Shakir. So we got the bring back in that Eagles game. Tony Pollard, Tyrone Tracy, Tyler Warren, Jordan Love, Dallas Goedert, Cam Ward. So Cam Ward was with Tony Pollard and a bring back of Chris Olave. We had nothing with Jordan Love right here. Dallas Goedert, obviously, that's the Eagles stuff. We get Romeo Doubs to stack with Jordan Love, Jalen Wright as a body, Justice Hill to bring back in that Green Bay game, Chigakonkwo to stack with Cam Ward, and then we get Tyler Lockett right after that, and then we get Dontavian Wicks to stack with the Packers, and then we finish it off with Kendre Miller, who's a bring back for that Saints-Titans game. I mean, this is how you build, right? Like, at the very least, that's the way you're supposed to build a best ball team. I'm not a best ball bro yet, but it feels like the right way to build a team. Is it the right players? We'll see, but I think the correlations are there. I wish we had maybe one more rookie at wideout, or if Lockett was Iamaner instead of Lockett, but Iamaner went around earlier. Dontavian Wicks, yeah, whatever. He's a stacking partner. He could rotate in. Yeah, first rounder's not correlated, but it makes it a little bit different. That was a fun team, fun draft. I think we landed the plane after I ranted too. You get a correlated team. You get a rant. What more could you ask for on a live stream, guys? What more could you ask for? But that's the draft for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time. Be on the lookout for that Tank Bigsby email that I'm going to send today, where I kind of talk through range of outcomes. It's more going to be like game theory, philosophical kind of email more than likely. I haven't written any of it, but that's my guess is how the vibe's going to go, just based on how people are reacting to all this Tank Bigsby news. So yeah, take a look at that, lateround.com. That's where you can sign up and subscribe for the newsletter. It's absolutely free. And we are constantly sending emails. Well, 2 of them a week. One from me, one from Mr. Kitchen. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Late Round Fantasy Football YouTube channel. Please do that right now. If you're not, you get notified every time I go live. Also, like this video when you're done. Comment on it. Just do everything that you can with this YouTube channel, because we want to keep doing it. It's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. And that tells us that we should be doing it. So thanks for being along for this ride of this draft. It was a fun one. Let's hope the positive streak continues after Kitchen's draft yesterday. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll catch you next time.